Yeah, I can't remember how long.
Yeah, and Dee gave a talk to us, a couple of years ago perhaps, she gave a talk to us. And it was such a wonderful talk, and I said it's time for her to renew and come back and share with us again, so, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Pat.
Yes.
I have an LVAD, which is a Left Ventricular Assist Device, and that's what I talked about before. But just to give you a little background, in '98 I had a sudden cardiac death. Amazingly, regained consciousness when the EMTs arrived, but my heart was 250 beats a minute when they took me into the ER.
Oh my
Goodness.
And telling myself, in the ambulance on the way to the hospital, I said, "Can you guys turn me around? I can't ride backwards." And they're like, "Oh yeah, lady." So they implanted a pacemaker defibrillator at that time because they found out I had cardiomyopathy and cardiorhythmia. And then a few years later, I got congestive heart failure. So it's been ongoing. My dad died of a heart attack at 58. Just an infarction though, as far as we know. And things kind of were going along fine. In 2014, we decided to switch my defibrillator. This was number 5. The first 2 went out at 3.5 years each. They had problems. The second one was fine. The third one was fine. The fourth one, we were doing okay, but we decided to switch from a single lead to a triple lead. Well, as I put it, I started rocking and rolling. And I was getting nailed. So it's not pleasant. We had a support group when I first got it that was called Ticker Kickers. They had a donkey, a mule on the front, but that went by the wayside. So anyway, they put it in, and when I started getting shocked, I ended up in the hospital. They tried an ablation and it didn't work. So as luck would have it, the cardiologist at St. Luke's had trained at the University of Utah, so he says, "We're sending you there." So I got sent down there 2.5 weeks, and then they came in and they said, "Well, we're going to put this device in you." And I'm going, "I don't know what you're talking about, no idea." But they spend a lot of time trying to educate you. And the nice thing I like too is they had patients who had this that would come in and visit patients that were going to get it. And that's I'm an ambassador now for Abbott, who makes my device. And that's one of the things I do a lot is when I've been in the hospital, I'll go visit a patient in my gown. And I have people, the nurses will refer someone to call me if they have questions and so forth. So, because I've had this going on 9.5 years now.
Whoa.
So,
3.5 years.
it's a whole new learning experience, that's for sure. What it is the heart's too large to pump on its own. So the pump is implanted in the left ventricular. That's why it's called the Left Ventricular Assist Device. We shorten it to LVAD. There's also an RVAD. But with the RVAD, basically you can't leave the hospital because you're hooked up to some machines. And in fact, well, I belong to another support group that's for the VAD transplant patients. And one of our members of that, I think it's 38 years now, he's had his heart transplant, but he was the very first patient at the University of Utah to get an LVAD, and it's when it was a huge machine that he was hooked up to, and he was basically confined to his room.
Yeah.
So they've come a long way. When I got mine, there were 3 companies that were making them. One was called a Heartware. It was a little smaller than what mine is. One was a Jarvik. Jarvik was the cardiologist, you know, that did all, and it went behind the ear, and then his little wire. We had one patient member here that had that, and kind of stuck up, but he could go swimming and everything. I can't. So, and then HeartMate is what I have.
You
And
have,
it's-
you have the three?
I have the two.
You have the
I'm an
two?
oldie.
Oh,
I
that's
didn't
okay.
get the new one.
We're just learning.
And they won't replace. Plus, I have almost destroyed my drive line. It's all taped up because I would keep getting holes in it, and they can't replace it. But the HeartMate 3 has a little connection that they can disconnect and put a new power source in to that drive line.
Oh, good.
So that's an advantage that
Yeah.
you guys have that I don't. They won't go in and replace it. It's too risky. They don't like to mess around. And at my age, they definitely won't. So, but it's a real learning curve, but it's doable. You can live your life. You just have to make adjustments. Like I mentioned, I can't swim. I can't take baths, anything with water. I have a shower bag that this goes into when I shower, and then I have to cover my dressing with a Tegaderm so it doesn't get wet. When I first got this, I was changing it every day. Now I only change it every other day. And it's getting heavier too. It's, when I first got it, I had a little bit of an infection, but not much. And it's been fine since then, so I don't have any issues there. I'm just winging it here, so bear with me. My mind goes one way. I don't, of course, can't water ski. And I gave up downhill skiing and cross-country skiing and everything, but my passion is line dancing. And I do line dancing 2 days a week.
Oh, good for you.
Hey, I want to know how to do that.
And when I do my line dancing, I wear my holster. Because then I have a battery on this side and a battery on this side, and the controller is in the middle. And this is, get it open, what the inside looks like. This wire goes up into the heart, and actually I have a little show and tell. My son had heart issues as well. And about 5 years ago, he was seeing doctors from the University of Utah would come up here to Boise.
Yeah.
And one said, I want you to do a genetic test. So he did it, and I did it. We have a gene. I have a half-sister who took the test. She didn't have the gene, but I'm pretty sure it came from my dad's side of the family. My son got an LVAD 3 years ago, November this year. And last December, he got a heart transplant.
Whoa.
So when he got the heart transplant, because they removed the defibrillator, they also removed the pump. So this is what the pump looks like. And I thought I'd just bring them and show them, let you pass them around so you can see what that looks like.
So is that what you have inside?
That's what I have inside me is one of those things. So we have, I've only flown once since I got this. Right now I don't know that I want to fly anyway. But you have to show a letter to TSA. But some of our other group who have traveled have really had issues with that. One mother was taking her daughter to the Mayo Clinic, and they kept telling her she had to take it off.
Oh,
And
Oh.
it doesn't come off. I can't do that. And they stood there arguing, and finally the supervisor came over and said, okay, I'll take care of it. So there are some problems. One of the things, I was going to show you this. I run off 2 batteries. There's a brand new manufacturer out now that it's a little smaller and it only takes 1 battery.
Wow.
And I met a lady last year at the U who had gotten that one. How she's doing, I don't know. But I have 4 sets of batteries. 2 of them are in a battery charger at home. And I forgot to bring this over. My other friend that has to go everywhere with me has a backup set of batteries and a backup controller.
Oh, wow.
So if something goes wrong with them, you've got them with you. I have had to do the controller. First few times I had the medical staff do it. One time I was on the phone and I had to call my neighbor over because you're not supposed to do it alone because you actually disconnect and you could pass out. And I had her scared to death, but we did the replacement that we were talked through it on the phone to do it. So the backup is in there. At night, I have a power source and I plug into it with what I call a 20-foot tether. That's about all the further you can go. At least you can get to the bathroom. That's the good thing. But it's electrical, so I have to be really careful, washing my face and doing things like that. But it recharges the power source, and the battery pack takes care of it. Now the battery pack is about like this, by this tall.
Yowzer.
It's heavy. And the little power controller is about like this. It's not very big. But here's the thing as well. If you fly especially, you have to put it in a suitcase and it has to go on the plane with you. You cannot baggage or gate check it. And the one time I flew, I had no problem going. But when I came home, I was sitting there and they said, you need to gate check. And of course, my suitcase is about this high. And I went over and I said, that's medical, it has to stay with me. She said, I'll let them know. I get on the plane, the attendant goes, you can't have that. I said, excuse me, I told him it was medical. Blah, blah, blah. And then he said, go sit down, you're holding up the line.
Oh,
And so I sat down, and then he came up and he said, okay, we're going to take care of it. The next thing I knew, a ground crewsman came up the steps, took my bag, went down,
wow.
went around the nose of the plane and put it in the baggage compartment.
Wow.
But it was a direct flight, so I didn't say anything. But I thought, no, that's not happening again. When I got mine, they told me of somebody who had traveled, and he did baggage check his, and that baggage got lost. So who knows what happened there? So you don't want to risk it. For me, I find it's much easier to drive places because of the equipment. And so that's what I do if I can, except in winter. There's medications you have to be on. One of them is a blood thinner, and unfortunately, the only one they will let you be on that they've approved for the VAD is Coumadin or warfarin, the rat poison, I call it. So every week, I have to take what's called my INR level, and luckily I have a little at-home kit that I can just poke my finger, get it, put it in a machine, and then I call Salt Lake and tell them what the reading is, and then they give me my dosage for the week. Sometimes I've had to do it a couple of times a week if I'm over or below or what have you, which is no problem for me. When you first get this too, they give you what's called a red book, It's a 3-ring binder, and one of the things on the power controller that you go through, I guess I should just leave it alone. If you hear beeping, my batteries go about 12 to 14 hours, and I was told let them run their life, because if you change them too soon, then it starts to think it doesn't need to go that long. So that's normally what I do. And so when it beeps, it just says change the battery, and I do. The new HeartMate 3 can go, I think, 14 to 16 hours, something like that. That's what my son got, was a HeartMate 3. But you go through, they set, based on your condition, they set a pump speed, and then they have a flow that says how much is going through there. I still haven't figured out the PI, but it's another reading. And then there's the power, how much power you're getting. And in the red book, we had to record that in addition to our weight and our temperature daily, which I do, except Abbott, the company, worked with another company that we have equipment now. I have a little tablet and a thermometer, a BP cuff. I think that's it. I have my own pulse ox because I have to report that as well. But I just enter it into the tablet daily and don't have to record it, except the staff at St. Al's don't have access, and that equipment hooks up through Wi-Fi. So Salt Lake, they pull it up daily and look and see what's going on. But our staff here at St. Al's don't have access to that. So I'm back to recording things in a book for them. But you know, it's minor to have to do that. My friend Melody over here, we've known each other since junior high. I'm a very active social person, more than some people can handle. So one of the things they told me in Salt Lake is live your life. And one of the things, I guess you could say my mantra, when I got this, I thought, you know, I could go home and curl up and say I'm going to die, or I can live. I choose to live as best as I can, as long as I can. And I'm able to at least still be functioning because I have this device supporting me, and I can do the things most of the things I like to do. Like I said, I'm limited with some things, but I travel, like I said, by car mainly, but I have several groups that I do activities with, and lunch and dinner with friends and so forth, so I don't let the grass grow very well. But, you know, you've just gotten one recently?
No, I've been tested for one. I was
Okay.
evaluated at U of U last year.
It's scary.
Yeah, I was there for a week.
Yeah, it's
They
scary
said I was
at
too
first
healthy for
because
it,
you're
I
going,
think.
what are you talking about?
Yeah.
But once you get it and you adjust, it's not hard.
Yeah.
It's just, like I said, it takes some adjusting, and you have to figure out what you're going to do and how you're going to do it, and that's it. I don't know what else to tell you. Do you have any questions?
How long were you in the hospital after the procedure?
Well, that's one of the things. When you get it, you have to stay in Salt Lake for minimum 3 months.
Wow.
So I was there 2.5,
Okay.
and then you come home. But part of that is they're trying to get medications adjusted, know what's going to work, make sure you're doing okay. You have to go through cardiac rehab, and I also have had to do cardiac rehab here off and on as well. transplant people have to stay there minimum of usually 6 months. So, but I know some who have come home sooner than that. It varies for every individual how you manage it. That,
Their health level.
yeah. Pat, you had a question.
Yeah, I have, a question. I don't know where the equipment is, but the flatter piece, that is what's in your,
The flat one is the defibrillator
Uh-huh.
pacemaker.
okay,
The bigger round one is the heart pump.
okay, and
That's in me. I have both in me.
Okay.
Yeah, I have both. And in fact, my battery on my ACID, the defib pacer combination, is down to about, I think they said 8 months, and then it's gonna have to be replaced. And when I was there 2 weeks ago, they said they could maybe turn off the defibrillator portion and just leave the pacemaker going, because the LVAD will supposedly take over for the defib. The defibrillator, your heart rate's going too fast and it shocks you to put your heart back in rhythm. The pacemaker, your heart goes too slow and it speeds it up. So that's the difference between those two. And most of us have the combination.
So you have both, one to speed it up and.
I have the
slow it down?
pacer defib and the heart pump. So it's really, you can't go through the machines at the airport or anything, you'll set things off, you know. They forewarn you.
So do you feel it when it slows it down or speeds it up? Do you feel that happening?
Well, the defibrillator you will, because it shocks you.
So that's the one that slows it down.
That slows it down. The pacemaker, not so much. Sometimes I can feel when it's pacing me, my heart will really start doing something and I'll just kind of feel something, but it doesn't happen very often.
How often does the defibrillator shock you?
Well, fortunately,
Yeah.
before I got this, when I went into the ER here in Boise, I didn't realize I had something they call a storm. The defibrillator was doing that. And they had told me that if somebody was touching you when it went off, they could feel the shock. And a little nurse had her hand on my arm and I saw her jump. And I said, "You felt that?" She said, "Yes." I said, "Okay." So, the morning after the VAD was implanted, the surgeon happened to come in my room at the time I got shocked by the defibrillator. That's the last time I've been shocked. I don't want it anymore. It's an eye opener.
Okay.
Do you feel like you've been kicked by a mule?
Well, I don't know what it feels like to be kicked by a mule, but it doesn't feel good. So, yes.
So with all this apparatus, what is your stamina or energy level like?
Right now, not good. Mainly because I'm having another issue. In January, I developed an abscess in my chest, and I got air flighted. This is like the 5th air flight. We're getting to be really good friends. And they removed it, but they found I have a blood infection for which I have to be on an antibiotic for the rest of my life, and I'm having issues there because I keep having reactions to some of them. And 2 months ago, I felt a lump, and the next thing I knew, I had what looked like a marble sticking out of me. And they didn't call it an abscess, but I'm going next week to Salt Lake for surgery. They're going to go in and clean up everything because the issue with the blood infection is it's close to the driveline in me. So they have to clean that up. And right now my energy level, like I said, I line dance. Normally I can dance every dance, and every single dance all the way through. Now I sit down, I dance a little, sit down, dance a little, sit down, but I'm still moving.
Right.
Yeah.
And Dee, I remember you telling me that mostly LVAD is a temporary, that it's kind of a bridge between.
Well, it's bridged to a heart
to a heart
transplant,
transplant,
or
Destination.
it's what's called destination, which is what I am.
They weren't able to do a heart transplant.
No,
for some
I was
reason.
69 when, I'm 78 now, I was 69 when I got it. And at that time they said 70 was the cutoff for a transplant, but they kept telling me no. But one of my cohorts that had this, that was 3 months younger than me, got a transplant at 70. And I'm like, no, wait a minute. But listening to our transplant people, I don't know, especially at my age, that I'd want to go through that.
Right.
And I lost my son in March,
Oh,
so,
yeah, that's right.
but after the transplant, he got kidney failure, and then he got RSV.
Oh.
So, and he refused to go to the hospital when he got the RSV, so that was it. But, where was I? Yeah.
It's understandable
Um,
then why they didn't.
Yeah, and every medical center has a different age cutoff for the LVADs, I've found in talking to some people. Because some say 65, some say, you said 70, and now I guess they're saying 75, I don't know what they're saying anymore. Or no, they're saying younger, I think it's 65, something like that. So, and I think a lot of it might depend upon your health,
Right,
other
Yes.
issues in your health level
right.
as to how it is. Walking can be a challenge because this on me and carrying that, and when I get the surgery, I'm going to have a wound vacuum, which will be on this shoulder, so I'm not going anywhere for a while, and I'm definitely not dancing. But I have gotten one of those little granny grocery carts on wheels. So when I go places, I stick this in there, and if I have other stuff, I stick it in there, and I can walk a distance. It's just running over people.
How long will you have to be in after this?
I have no
procedure?
idea how long
At
I'm
this
gonna be
point.
there.
Yeah.
Ray?
Is there any update you might be able to give us? I know St. Al's downtown is developing a little bit of a heart presence in the valley. Are they going to try to take some of the weight off of Salt Lake, or?
Well, they are. When was it, about, I want to say 4 years ago, some of you may have known her, Dr. Earhart.
Oh, yeah.
They brought her in to work with the VAD and transplant patients. And she left us a couple of years, about a year and a half or so ago. And they brought in Dr. Thala now. And then recently they brought in another doctor, if I can remember, Kasperovich, I think is how they say it. He's young, but I found out he trained at the U. And the plan is that eventually St. Al's will do the LVAD implantation, not heart transplants. That may come down the road, who knows. But these two doctors are here for the VAD and the transplant patients, and they work with us. I usually go to Salt Lake every 6 months on my, what they call my annual. I have to do a right heart cath and an echo, a 6-minute walk, and then the office visit, where the other 6-month checkup is just, I don't have to do the right heart cath, but we kind of do the other things. And I actually did my annual here at St. Al's last year, and Dr. Thala did the right heart cath. The only thing is, I don't like it through the neck. I prefer it through the arm, and I told him, don't do that again. So, and in Salt Lake, the nurses, they call them LVAD coordinators. And we had 6 down there. Now they're up to 7 and looking for an 8th. But they have one coordinator that's on call 24/7, and they rotate out. You know, one will do it one week, one the next. Well, they hired 2 gals here at St. Al's. Fact is, the guy who had been my original nurse when I got this left the U and went to work for Abbott, dealing with medical facilities and training and everything. And he had me go with him a couple of times to St. Al's to meet these 2 nurses. And that's what they did. These 2 nurses trained to become LVAD coordinators here in Boise. One of them left though because she had a young family and it was getting to be too much. They recently have hired a second one, so we do have 2 coordinators here. And they're on top of things. I mean, I had a call yesterday from Jessica, and it's reassuring now that at least one medical facility is getting educated on what this is, because I know one time I went into the ER and the young man said, "Well, what's that?" Oh, okay. I don't want to be here. And Jessica, the one coordinator here, has been going around St. Al's doing training, making everybody aware of what it is. They may not understand it totally, but at least they know what it is.
Yeah.
And that we're different. They can't always get a blood pressure. A lot of times they have to do it through Doppler, which I have at home, but I can't do it alone, so I don't. But, so, you know, when I go in to see the doctor, "Can I take your blood pressure?" "Well, have fun. It's a crapshoot." You know, sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. And my blood pressure usually runs between the 80s and 90s. It tends to run lower, which some people would freak and say, "Whoa, she's in trouble." You know, but that's what happens with the LVAD. Other questions?
This has been a great presentation. You're a great lady. Thank you so much. A very
Well,
good presentation.
You know, the more people know what it is, the better. Everybody thinks I'm wearing my purse.
Yes.
And my one friend that has one, she actually wears hers in a backpack. But they didn't give me a very long drive line, so that doesn't work. And I'm not a backpack person.
Oh, I was just wondering how many people have this procedure done?
Well, there's probably more in the valley than we realize, but like I was telling Pat earlier, our support group is called Pie Night. Now go figure. What happened is it started in Salt Lake, and they would meet at the Village Inn for free pie on Wednesday night. So the person who had started it there brought the name here for our group, and we meet once a month. For a lot of people, this type of thing is not their thing. They don't want to come and talk. I have found it so beneficial to have Mended Hearts and Pie Night groups, because it's nice to talk to people who have or are experiencing what you are, and you can relate to them, and you can educate and help each other.
Right.
And so I know I've been told about people that have gotten LVADs, never seen them. Like I said, I get notified sometime, like a couple weeks ago, that Jessica, the nurse, had said, here's this young lady that they're considering for an LVAD. I gave her your number to contact. I haven't heard from her. I had one gentleman that did call, I did talk with a few months back, but never have seen him. It's scary, and it is a big decision, but the choice is, do you want to give up, or do you want to do what you can to continue, which is my choice. And yeah, it's an inconvenience at times, but
How many years ago was that?
9.5.
9.5 years. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Hey Dee, I just wanna thank you though for sharing and just being willing to be open and talk to us, it really means a lot. And our hearts and our minds and our prayers will go with you on this trip to Salt Lake.
Thank you. Well, I can talk.
Tell them about being a school teacher.
Yeah, retired teacher.
You tell them CSI in Twin Falls and then BSU here.
Wow.
Come on, give her a bigger.
Yeah.
She is a very special lady.
What did you teach?
I taught at the College of Southern Idaho for 21 years, and then I taught at Boise State for 10 years. I was in applied technology, not academic. Hands-on, teach job skills.
Oh, great.
Plus, I was advisor for Business Professionals of America student organization and took students to national competition every year at both colleges.
Wow.
Hey.
Very good.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dee.
We should have done it when we started, but we need to introduce the new people that are here today. You want to tell us your name and?
I'm Patrick Joseph Cole, this is my wife Trace Marie.
Cool.